Hello, beautiful people. Hello, my greenses of the world. My name is Ana Torres. Welcome to Ana K's Little Green Book. I hope you're doing well. Today, I wanted to take some time to talk about business cards. It actually has a very interesting history, so I got a lot of information on that, and I'm not going to be going over all of it, but I am going to put it in the description. So if you feel like you want to learn a lot more, just make sure to go ahead and read it down there. But I did want to just touch on some points. Essentially, when it came to just business cards, it started in China around the 15th century. Essentially, what they would do it, they would call them Meishis. I hope I'm not totally destroying that word, but essentially what it meant, it was trade cards. And the main reason why they would do it was to set up an appointment with some other individual. This was usually printed in handmade paper, which I think is amazing. But on the other end, right on around the same time, Germany was actually using woodcuts in order to print that out. As we went by, they kept some of those things. It became a little bit more intricate. They were using a lot more materials. Back in Europe, they actually were using it for different things. It could have been used for just announcing the arrival or the departure of someone. It could used as a congratulations. It could also be as condolences. So essentially when it came to that, it was a little bit more official, and it was more like a card. Something that we usually send as an overall right now. But as I mentioned, it does have a lot more time. Around the 1900s, that's when it became a little bit more informal. People still do give business cards even up to now, but there's a lot of other countries that still have very specific etiquettes. There's some that you need to give it with both hands, bow down. There's other ones that have the etiquette that it needs to be given. And it needs to be like literally just touched by 2 fingers, and you should make sure that it's not touching any of the important information. So when it comes to business cards, I think it is very important to remember that they are made in different types of materials, and that's how it came from 600 years ago, and it has been evolutioning into what it is right now. As of now, we usually use them just to exchange information. Usually it's very, very vague. It will have your name, your contact info, the place that you work for, and probably your title. So again, it's a little bit more informal as of now. When it comes to business cards, it's just very interesting to know that there are 27 million being made every single day. So about the average of like the business cards just made in the US, it's going to be 10 billion business cards on a year-to-year basis. When it comes to this, again, it can be a huge environmental impact. So not the greatest thing. About 8 to 10 different cards can be printed in a piece of paper. So that would probably make it 1 billion pieces of paper. But remember, it's not just done in normal paper. It has to be a little bit more intricate. Some people call it paper stock. Some people call it card stock. So essentially, it is very dependent on the type of material, just so it's more durable. And that's essentially what a lot of people do. There's a lot of business cards that actually can be glossy. There's some that have some metallic accents. So there's a lot of different ones that when it comes to this one. So I did want to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the environmental impact that it has around the world. But specifically here in the US. So there's 3 different reasons I actually wanted to focus a little bit more on. The first one, it is the manufacture of that paper stock or card stock or harder paper, which is what we usually see them printed on. So when it comes to this one, air pollution is going to be big. Water pollution and landfill pollution. So when it comes to this one, well, you're actually cutting trees as well in order to be doing the pulp that it's used in the process of doing the paper. Unfortunately, with this one, it is a very significant amount of pollution that it's being done. And apparently, when it comes to the US, the pulp and the paper industry that generates this, it's the sixth largest when it comes to the industrial air, water, and land pollutants, emissions all around our country. So that kind of accounts to about 79 tons of all the industrial pollutants that we are having around. So that's the first one. The second one is going to be more along the lines of the printing process. So when it comes to this one, just like with our paper manufacturing, we still have air, we still have just water and land pollution, but we can also add to that. When it comes to that one, it's going to be more about around the lines of using ink, which is also going to be very dependent on the types of chemicals that are being used. But not just that, it also is creating a lot of energy because of the types of different processes. Obviously, when it comes to the printing, it's going to be very dependent on the type of person that is actually doing it, or the type of like different industries that are using different types of printing, and therefore they're using different types of chemicals, and therefore they are going to be polluting in very different ways. The third one is going to be just the paper waste. Essentially, with this one, it's very sad, but as I mentioned before, there's about 10 billion business cards created or printed here in the US. Out of those, about what was it, 8 billion are just thrown away after just 1 week of being handed that business card. Essentially, about 63% of people said that because they don't really need that service at the moment. So they didn't even think about it. They had no reason to even doubt or give it a thought to either do it or not. So with that, around 67 million of the solid municipal waste, it's actually coming from those business cards and very specific paper consumption when it comes to all of that. So again, 3 very different ways of how this is impacted environmentally. So keep that in mind. We have those different options in which you can actually print out in recycled paper. Obviously, that's going to show how much you actually care about the environment. It's actually going to show to your clients, and ultimately you're actually making a difference into the world. But I did wanted to think about more of a transition of, yes, I have business cards, and what is a better option for me. So essentially, when it comes to this one, I wanted to talk a little bit more about what we call the NFC cards. That's going to be essentially the near field communication cards, or digital cards, essentially. I actually just got mine and I'm super excited. I've been doing research for over a month in order to see the one that I really wanted to do. There's so many different options that you actually have. It was insane how many of them are actually out there. I did end up buying a specific one, but I wanted to talk a little bit more of why transition to a business card. So obviously the first one is going to be because of the environmental impact that those business cards are having within our country and our world as an overall, but you're going to be eliminating all of those pollutants, like either water, air, or even the land. Remember that all of this are ending up in our landfills because most of them are going to be cardstock, most of them are going to be glossy, or they have metallic enhancements. Doesn't matter what it is, most of them cannot be recycled. So again, we're trying to remove all of that out of our landfills, and we want to be able to make sure that we are being more conscious and more sustainable. So the second one is going to be, well, guess what? We are in the middle of a pandemic. So if we do have contactless option, that's going to be the best one. So essentially, you can do it in the form of a bracelet. That way you don't even have to hand in something. You're not touching your business cards and then distributing them with other people. You don't have to worry about running out. I mean, I don't know about you, but I have gone through that so many times. I'll be in events. I definitely do run out of business cards. It is hard, especially with like not being able to say, oh, hey, I might have some more at my car. With that one, you don't even have to worry. You have to just carry your one business card, your bracelet, or even a little like circle that it's actually like put onto your phone, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. And the last one is going to be just you being able to use it as long as you want. The only thing you have to do is change that information that you actually have there. What if you're changing positions? What if your position literally just changed from being a generic employee to being a manager? You don't really have to do another set of business cards, which I did want to mention the cost on that. Usually a business card can range in between $10 to $500. The average here in the US is going to be $194 for the business cards. Obviously, it depends who you are, how many you're actually handing out. If I think about it, like I usually go to at least 4 events on a month-to-month basis. In each of those, I at least give 20 to 25 business cards. So that's actually going to be 100 business cards on a month-to-month basis, plus all my client meetings where I actually give them my information. So it is a lot of them, and you are removing that cost out of it as well. So again, a great opportunity. I actually found a couple of different options. Link is the one that I decided to go to. Again, this was like the one that I have just received. I ordered the bracelet. I also ordered the card. So essentially what I will be using will be that. I just have to carry that one everywhere I go. I actually got 2 different ones, just so one I could use for work and one I can just use as a personal thing. And I wanted to just show you how pretty it is. Essentially, it's just like this, and that's going to be your virtual card. Isn't it beautiful? I'm excited. Not gonna lie. So again, a great way, but there's also Popple. That's going to be the circles that you can actually put on your phone. That way you don't have to worry about like carrying anything, which is hence why I actually have this. That's going to be more for my personal use. And then there's also Tabby. Tabby works very, very similarly to Popple, so that one you can actually just buy it and put it on your phone. And there's also other like digital cards that you can find. Some of them is going to be Haystack or even Switch It. So there's a lot of different options. Again, they might be some of those that will be better for you. I know that a lot of people do have more of like a business. You can actually go ahead and customize your card. You can do it with your logo, your information, and it can be printed on it. Again, it depends on what you actually want and how it fits to you. So I hope you enjoy this video. Again, there's going to be a lot of information under because I did do a lot more research and I thought it was very interesting. But if you have any questions, please send me a message. Hopefully you find this very helpful and you can use it and make that transition. Have a great one. Hopefully I can see you on next video, and thank you so much for watching again. Bye.